Welcome to the lecture on PHP installation softwares. So what we are going to do here is we are going to start looking at what type of installation stack is available and what type of softwares are available to support that stack. So if you're hearing stack for the first time, so this is a good section that you will learn all those things here. Okay, so let's move on to the topic. So the lecture objective, after completing this lecture, you will be able to differentiate various installation stack, and also you will explain the type of installation software that you can use to install on your local machine and then start writing the PHP program. So one thing before you start looking at these things, don't be confused with a stack and a software, right? Stack is basically combination of things. Software is basically a software that is available to download and install that application. Okay, so we'll look at first at the various installation stack. So let's look at the types of the installations stack that we have. First stack is called as LAMP stack, which is Linux, Apache, MySQL and PHP. Linux being the OS, Apache being the web server, MySQL being the database server, and PHP script is the scripting language. So these are individual components combined together to form a stack, and this stack is called as LAMP. So means if you build a web application and this web application is running on Linux, then you need a LAMP stack or LAMP stack. So in order to understand what is a LAMP stack is nothing but a combination of softwares together. Right? These are the softwares for different application and different purposes. Like at the OS level, what OS you are using. At the web server level, what web server you are using. And also at the database, you can choose to have different databases. And at the PHP script level, it is always be PHP. Okay. So this stack is called as LAMP stack. The next stack is called as MAMP stack, which is the web server, DB and PHP script remains the same. The underlying OS will change. If the underlying OS is Mac, then it is called as MAMP stack. Also remember, stack is not software, is just an stack. Stack in the sense, if you are changing any of the components, let's say you're removing MySQL with something else, then it's no more called as MAMP stack. Whatever is that name here, you attach it to in the short form. But as of now, when someone says LAMP stack or MAMP stack, it's pretty much indicated that it is a Mac, it has Apache, it has MySQL and it has PHP. Similarly for Windows, you have WAMP stack. So WAMP, basically you have underlying OS as Windows and rest of the components remain the same. Okay, this is a very standard stacks that is people use for PHP website development. And if you are choosing to have your web application running on Linux, then you need to have a LAMP stack installed on your machine. Similarly for Mac, if you are having a Mac OS book, then you should be looking at MAP stack. And if you are using a Windows, then you have to have a WAMP stack. So different softwares are available to install all these components together, because when you write PHP script, you might be connecting to a database. So this talk will help you to understand what kind of software is required for your website development. So I hope this is very clear from the stack perspective. Remember these names, because whenever you're going to go in the internet and start reading or downloading any software, they will talk about these three stack: LAMP stack, MAMP stack and WAMP stack. LAMP being the Linux, MAMP being the Mac OS and WAMP being the Windows OS. Next, let's look at the software that is available in the market to support this stack. The first software is called as AMP. The AMP basically is a famous software that support all the three stacks. You can install LAMP, MAMP and WAMP, right? Next is MAMP. This MAMP, don't get confused with the MAMP stack. MAMP is basically a software name. We're going to look into the website as well. This software supports Windows and Mac OS, and pretty much it is very famous in the Mac. So if you are using a MacBook, I highly recommend you use MAMP. XAMP software, this software uses MariaDB instead of MySQL. WAMP is again for Windows, where you can install the WAMP stack. The recommended one are the two on the left hand side, AMPS and MAMP. Basically AMPS will have all these stacks available, so it's a very good case where we can install the same software on Linux, Mac and Windows, where all the other three Some will support it, some will not be supported on all the 3 versions. So I highly recommend you install amps, and which I'll be showing you in the next section. And if you are using MacBook Pro and you do already been using MAMP for other reasons, so you can highly recommend to use MAMP. If you are on Windows and you want MySQL, then WAMP is the only option. XAMPP is also a good software, but the database is MariaDB software. We're going to look into this website now and I'll show you the difference there. Okay, so let's head back and see these websites now. Okay, so I have opened all the 4 softwares. If you're using AMP stack, then which has WAMP, MAMP and LAMP stack. Now you know what this means, right? And you have Apache, MySQL, MongoDB, PHP, Perl and Python. Means when you install MAMP stack, you actually get all these things in your software already available. Means if you want to run Python code, Perl code, MongoDB already available and pre-packed into amps, right? If you want to have only the PHP based stack, that is the MAMP stack, then you can go to mamp.info, wherein you get the MAMP software, and this software works on Windows and also on Mac. Okay, next look at XAMPP. XAMPP is Apache, MariaDB and PHP and Perl. So this is how the stack is organized. So if you install XAMPP, you basically get all these softwares, and notice that there is no MySQL here, and they have all these 3 versions available for Mac, Linux and Windows. For WAMP, WAMP is for Windows. They clearly mention that this is a Windows based WAMP stack where you have Apache, PHP and MySQL database, and then they have PHP MyAdmin as well. So on all those 4 software that has been available, I feel AMPS is much flexible and recommended from standards point of view, and it has much more options available and easy to work with because it has all the options of stack supported. Okay, so in this course I'll be using AMPS. So next section we'll be installing this software on Windows and Mac. Okay, so we have seen all the PHP installation software. So by now you should be able to differentiate various installation stack. So if you're hearing stack for the first time, it's all lies from whatever the components attached in that stack. Okay, it helps you to see if you are using a Windows based OS, then you need all the softwares for Windows. Alright, that's why the stack installation come in picture. The next is the types of the PHP installation software. We have seen all these things. We have seen 4 different softwares, and AMPS is a software we are going to install in the next section. Okay, so that's a summary for this lecture. So I'll see you in the next one.